Now this coming weekend, I'm going to spend 24 hours talking about rugby straight on my podcast. Yes, I've set myself a big challenge this weekend as I follow rugby games across the world, from the URC to the NPC in New Zealand and the beginning of the Autumn International Series as well. So what's it all about? Why am I doing this? And will I be able to do it? Let's go and sit in the park and talk about it right now. Now, I've done a lot of endurance things over the years, so this is going to be another interesting one that I take on this weekend. Yes, I'm going to talk rugby for 24 hours non-stop, starting this midnight my time, which is going to be 7 AM in South Africa on Saturday morning. It's going to be 6 PM in New Zealand. It's going to be 4 PM in Australia on Saturday. It's going to be 6 AM in the UK. It's going to be 7 AM in France. And it's going to be 2 AM in Buenos Aires in beautiful Argentina. So yes, I'm going to be talking rugby all throughout that time this weekend for 24 hours non-stop, and I need your help because I want to raise $10,000 for the United Rugby Fans website project. It's one of our key priorities, is to make sure that rugby fans across the world have a sustainable portal that we can scale up to get millions of fans on board, and that's what we need to do. So we've already put out an RFQ for this project. We've got a supplier now that we've selected. They've given us the budget for the project, and now we need to get it built, and we can only do that when we can afford to pay for it. So I'm stepping up as the leader of the United Rugby Fans organisation. I'm going to be doing this podcast this weekend to try and raise as much of that money as I possibly can so that we can go ahead with this major first project for United Rugby Fans across the world. Now, in addition to talking about plenty of rugby games that are happening this weekend, I also want you to send me your ideas for discussion topics that we can do on this live stream throughout the 24 hours. No matter where you are in the world, you can join in for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour, 2 hours. Stay with me for a couple of hours and talk about rugby as it's happening across the world. So the first thing I'm going to do when I start this podcast on early hours of Saturday morning my time is to do a review of the game between the Glasgow Warriors and the Vodafone Bulls that will already have taken place in the URC competition. Then we're going to get ready for Australia's first game in their Northern Tour. Yes, they're going to be playing Japan in Japan this weekend, and that kicks off the Northern Tour series, the Autumn Internationals this year. That's going to be an exciting game for sure as Joe Schmidt goes head-to-head with Eddie Jones in Japan. And I'll be covering that game, and then we'll head over to New Zealand for the NPC final between Canterbury and Otago. Yes, that's taking place in Christchurch this weekend, and I'm going to be there watching that game on my screen from here in beautiful Cancun. Now, after that NPC game, I'm going to have a few hours to kill before I start covering the URC for the weekend. And the first game we're going to look at there is the Lions against Ulster, and then we've got the Sharks against the Scarlets, Leinster against Zebre Parma, and then Benetton against the Stormers, the Dragons and the Ospreys, Cardiff and Edinburgh, Munster and Connacht. Now, how many of those am I going to get through? That's going to be really, really interesting. But they're the games I want to talk about online. So if you're watching them and you want to have a chat about them, come online. We'll talk about the players, the scores, everything else that's going on, the referees even if you want to. And we'll make a whole lot of fun of it on my channel as well. Now, after those games have concluded, I'm still going to have plenty of hours left before I finish my challenge. So I'm going to be talking about the Autumn International Series, about South Africa's squad that Russie's picked. We can talk about that. We can talk about the New Zealand squad. We can talk about Australia's first game. We can talk about the Argentines and their tour as well to the north this particular year. And then any other discussion topics or items that you want to talk about throughout my 24-hour podcast, make sure you drop them in the comments. You can put them in the comments of this particular show today, and I'll put them on my list of things to talk about. So we can talk about rugby from 50 years ago. We can talk about rugby, your greatest hits. We can talk about players of all time. There's all sorts of things that we can talk about. We can even talk about the state of the game in your country, in your province, in your state right now. I'd love to know more about rugby and what's going on across the world. So make sure you join me for this podcast, an extraordinary event, 24 hours non-stop, talking about rugby this weekend, starting at midnight my time here in Cancun. I'll make sure all the start times are put in the description of this video so you can support me around the world. Now remember, I'm doing this as a fundraiser. I want to try and raise the $10,000 that we need to build our website for the United Rugby fans. We've got a temporary website up there at the moment, but of course we need something much more professional and scalable and robust so that we can bring on millions of rugby fans across the world, and we're not going to have the website crash on us and do all the things that we don't want it to do. So that's why this is a priority. To build that website is a priority, to make sure that we're connecting rugby fans around the world. And as the leader of United Rugby fans, well, I wanted to stand up and say, look, I'm going to lead and take on this opportunity to create this fundraising event and see whether we can get some money in the door to help us on our project. So anything that you can contribute to this process, you'll be able to come on the live stream and give us some super thanks and super chats and all the other ways. We'll also set up a donation page as well, and you can help us out with that. So that's what I'm going to be doing this weekend, 24 hours of non-stop rugby from across the world. And I'd love you to come and join me, have a chat, support the process, and see what we can achieve by the end of the weekend. Now, we've already got some fantastic things happening with United Rugby fans across the world. As you can see on the screen here, I've now got the door open to have a chat with New Zealand Rugby. Mark Robinson, the CEO of New Zealand Rugby, has offered the opportunity for me to call him and have a talk about what we're doing. So that's a great step there as well. I've also connected with Brian Habana on LinkedIn, as you can see from this exchange here, telling him how much of a great player he was, which he was, and how much I enjoyed watching him play. But now there's an opportunity to open another door and talk to another ex-South African player about what we're doing. And then we've got Johan West, of course, our United Rugby fans chapter lead in South Africa, doing some fantastic work to develop our chapter over there. He's going to be running the conference in 2026, which is going to coincide with the All Blacks tour to South Africa next year. So we're going to bring rugby fans together to Cape Town. We're going to have a conference there. We're going to have guest speakers. We're going to have rugby fans telling us what they want us to do to make sure we're improving the game across the world, and also in South Africa, of course. So if you want to join the chapter of United Rugby fans in South Africa, all you've got to do is send Johan an email. I've put his email address on the screen here so you can get directly in touch with him, and he will tell you everything else. Now also this week I'm going to be making a major announcement about the developments of what's happening with United Rugby fans in the Americas. Yes, we've got some big news to share with you all about what's going to happen in Canada, the United States, Mexico, Paraguay, Honduras, all these places, right down to Argentina in the south of America. And I've got some great news to share with you on how we're going to develop that region of the world. So if you're watching the video today and you're from one of those countries in the Americas, get ready, because we're about to do some really exciting things in your part of the world for United Rugby fans. Now, in addition to all these great things, we're doing the things to build the house properly. We're making sure we set up legal entities so we're able to raise money and act as a not-for-profit organization across the world. So those things are happening right now. The website project is another huge priority, and also setting up my global board of directors. I've got 4 of them on board now. We've got 1 more to go. And once that's in place, I'll be able to announce that to you all as well, because those people are going to be representing you. They're going to be giving us a voice at the table when we talk decisions across the world of rugby, whether it be with World Rugby or your rugby union in your country. We need people to represent us in those particular situations. So that's why I'm bringing those people on board. This is going to be a bottom-up organisation that's fed from the grassroots. This is your organisation. This is about the fans telling us what they want to have happen in the world of rugby to make it better for you. So that's why we're doing this. So it all kicks off with our first fundraiser this weekend, with me talking about rugby for 24 hours. Just come along and see whether I can last 24 hours. That's going to be one of the key factors. And if you've got something to chime in about rugby, it could be something you completely disagree with me on, well, come on board and talk about it. Don't stand behind your keyboard. Come and share your opinions, your views, your solutions. I want to hear them all on this podcast event coming along on the weekend. So there we go. That's my video for today. I wanted to tell you about this. We've got some cracking rugby coming up this weekend. I'm going to talk about as much of it as I possibly can until my voice probably goes, and then I'll still find a way to be able to communicate with you during the live stream as well. So there we go. It's a beautiful sunny day here in Cancun. The rain stopped for a moment, so I got outside to make you this video, and I'll see you all again soon. I hope to see you all, or as many of you as possible, on the live chat this weekend. It's going to be a lot of fun, that's for sure. Come along and help me stay awake and have a chat to us about rugby. Okay, I'll see you all again soon in the next video. Until then, stay safe, stay well, keep enjoying your rugby across the world, and it's time for me to say adios from beautiful Cancun in Mexico. Bye for now, everyone.